Castorol is a film podcast filled with dubious opinions, plot spoilers, and a healthy sprinkling of bad language. Thanks for listening.
Take a much loved movie and stir in a different cast. Add a hint of nonsense for a flavor that will last. Garnish it with fun, film facts, and food for the soul. It's a tasty, yummy, silly, funny movie casserole. Casserole.
Hello and welcome to Castorol. My name is Jim, and each episode myself and my two co-hosts Sam and Nick review one of cinema's much loved or unloved films with the aim of also serving you up a delicious recasting. But before we can get into that, don't forget you can follow Castorol over on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts from. And of course, don't forget to leave those all-important 5-star reviews. And should you wish to support the podcast in any way, you can do so by heading to patreon.com/Castorol podcast. And for the low price of just $1 a month, you can leave us a nice little tip for serving you up these juicy little episodes each month.
That's a bloody bargain, isn't it?
Or should you wish to represent the podcast, as our wonderful Sam is doing this week,
Hello.
you can head on over to tpublic.com, search Castorol, and you can be the proud owner of one of our many amazing designs. As I said, I am not alone. I've been a bit lazy this week and I've not thought of anything, so I'm just going to introduce them both.
Oh, sacrilege!
That's
Sorry, I have been a bit... Do you know what? In fact, I've been quite big on the cheese this week, so we'll go with this one then.
Straight into Gout Watch.
Straight into Gout Watch. He is the smoky applewood. It's Nick.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take his... I don't mind a little bit of smoked, you know. I can't remember the last time that I would have sampled a smoked cheese because no one else in the family would ever like it or have it. It feels like a big expense to buy a slab of smoked cheese and have to devour it all myself, and I dare say risk the gout in doing so.
I used to like smoked cheese more. I'm not so much anymore. No, I've got a really nice bit of blue in there at the moment. Actually,
And
That's from one extreme to the other, isn't it?
That other voice you heard.
Hello.
Soft on the inside, covered in rind on the outside.
You
No, he's not an
dirty brie.
armadillo. He's the big chunk of brie. It's Sam.
You dirty brie.
And
Rindy.
my name is Jim. I am the very veiny blue. Not to everyone's taste. Not to everyone's taste, but someone likes
Yeah,
me.
a bit strong.
We are Castorol. Let's recast a film.
If it's going blue, take the rubber band off. That's what I said.
Did anyone have enjoy a cheese board over Christmas?
We've still got we're
far too
surviving
many.
on cheese.
Too much.
I'm
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it now.
We were at my wife's parents, and I didn't want to say anything, a bit awkward. Maybe I'll send my feedback in writing at another time.
Give him a review on Yelp.
But the cheese board, it left a lot to be desired.
Yeah,
I've
right.
got
What
to
cheese
say.
was it?
Right, so there was just a little bit of completely mundane cheddar.
Not even an extra mature.
Not even extra mature, right?
get off.
There was a slither of brie,
Oh dear.
a couple of grapes, and I've got to tell you guys, that was it.
That's not a cheese board.
Would you have kicked off?
Yeah,
I would have flung it right out.
I would have brought my own cheese to save that from happening, mate.
I mean,
I imagine yours is in like a really cool pack, and you like roll it out onto the table.
Well,
it's got like all the cheeses slotted
should we-
into
should
compartment.
Should we compare that to what our cheese board was?
Yeah.
Here we go.
So, wheel of brie,
the wheel.
soft pineapple roll, spreadable pineapple cheese,
This is already the most Jim cheese going, right?
boursin,
Boursin.
garlic and herb,
Okay.
Yeah.
double Gloucester with like chives in the middle,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Wensleydale with cranberry and white chocolate,
Cool.
and a
Wait, what?
and
This is
a,
all like
and a-
dessert cheese.
and a cassis, like
Are you sure you didn't just buy a lot of cheesecake?
spicy cheese. So what else do we have? Spicy cheese. The applewood oak smoked.
Well,
There was one more. Oh, a nice soft spreadable veiny blue.
Can you stop saying veiny
blue. So I mean, he's got me beat there. He's got me beat because I
think there might be one other, but I can't. It's not coming to me at the top.
Do you know what? That is the goutiest cheese
that
board
is the
I've ever
goutiest.
heard.
No wonder he's
And then
got
obviously,
fucking gout.
then obviously we got the packet of like meats as well, the antipasti meats,
Charcuterie.
the charcuterie.
It's
Yeah.
got the charcuterie as well.
Yeah.
See, we didn't have a charcuterie
Hang on.
because we had
Are you
leftover
following
like
that
ham
up
and chicken.
with the boucherie?
Sorry, what?
Are you following that up with the boucherie?
Do you want to explain what a boucherie is, please?
The boucherie.
And the patisserie?
Patisserie.
I mean, there's crackers.
Okay.
So we had brie,
Nice.
baked camembert,
Nice.
some red Leicester,
Nice.
some extra mature cheddar,
Nice.
and some Stilton.
Oh.
So we just had but like for me, it's like you get a couple of good cheeses, but it's all about the extras. So we had the grapes, but we had some apple, and we had some walnut.
Tell me you had a bit of chutney.
Well, we had 3 types of chutney, mate. 3 types: a tomato chutney,
Yeah.
a sweet chili jam,
Yeah.
and a habanero cranberry.
See, I wasn't going into chutneys because I thought we were just chatting about cheese.
Well, no, but for me,
chutney wise, we had pear and fig.
pear and fig.
We had
That's the most Tory of chutneys.
pear and fig. We had the spicy tomato and chili,
Yeah, nice.
and there was just caramelised onion.
I've been so shortchanged on the
Silver
Christmas
skinned
cheese board.
onions.
Oh, the little
2
cheese
massive
balls.
jars
And of
I've
course,
been
we had 2
through.
jars of pickled eggs.
Oh,
How
yeah.
could I forget them?
Well, I mean,
Who could? Do you think we need to change to the podcast description where we say it's got absolutely nothing to do with food? It's starting to be like 50% food based.
it's good.
The intro has been very food heavy.
If we
lately.
were casting the cheese board, I feel like we've got it. Yeah.
I think we've covered all bases there.
I mean, definitely, if I was making food-based castings, then Kevin Bacon would be in it.
Hello.
Hello.
Just to go back to the cheese board.
I mean,
briefly.
I'm trying to skip a whole portion of the podcast
If you,
right there.
if you could have your desert
I've never
island,
skipped a portion in my life.
right, your desert island
Right.
cheese board, right? All the other accoutrements you've got, right? You've got your pickles, you've got your crackers.
That's already on the desert island, is
It's
it?
already there. You can only take one of the cheeses.
I've got this. It's easy.
Go.
It's the easy answer. It's
Go.
brie.
Is it though?
It is
I
brie.
think it's brie,
It's
yeah.
brie.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's barely a cheese, isn't it?
Whoa, whoa.
Brie goes with everything.
I think it's got to be cheddar.
That's such a boring answer.
Yeah, I know it is, but just think for a second. Just think about it. You could get really sick of brie pretty quick.
I'm not
Just
sure. I'm
think.
not sure I could because it's not.
See, I'd pick a red Leicester over a cheddar.
Would you?
Yeah,
Is
I
that only when there's other cheeses on offer though?
No, if someone said you can have one cheese, would you like red Leicester or cheddar? I'd go red Leicester.
Would you?
Yeah, I would. I quite like a double Gloucester. See, these are all quite like subtle. These are quite subtle cheeses.
In my head, there's no difference between a red Leicester and double Gloucester.
Oh, there's a big difference.
Oh, there's huge differences.
They're both
Double
like the
Gloucester
orange
is much
cheeses.
creamier. They're not. Well, yeah, they are both orange cheeses. This podcast has devolved into.
This is not what everyone turned in for this week, is it?
No, I mean.
Welcome to 2025, where we're now a food podcast.
Right, you veiny, gouty weirdos. Should we talk
Hey,
about
only
food?
one of us is gouty, and only 2 of us are veiny.
Dare I ask if in between all the food you've been scoffing, have you managed to watch anything?
Hey, do you know what? I've actually watched something. this
Oh,
time.
hello.
I've not completed anything apart from the film we're making a caster of today, but I started watching some stuff.
Why are
Can I
you
talk
fucking
about that?
edging yourself with films?
Just a bit, just a little bit. I tried to check out One Piece
Yeah, nice.
Are
because
you talking about the anime or the Netflix live action?
well, so the reason I did it is because my wife's got really back into Pokemon cards, and she was trying to say to me, "Oh, you should like check out some of the card collector cards and stuff." And she was like, "Oh, the art looks really cool in One Piece." So she bought me a few packs for Christmas, and like, the artwork's really cool, like manga
is,
style
yeah,
stuff.
it's nice.
So I was like, "Well, maybe I should check out the show." So I started with just the base anime. Mm-hmm. Found some on Netflix, starting at like episode 1038. or
Oh yeah,
something.
you don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that.
Well, I
It's
couldn't find it from the
that's-
beginning.
You're not going to understand anything.
Even
That's-
even then, I was like, "What is this mental?"
You've
What is
decided to
going
start at like episode 1030 something when all the characters are fully developed.
on? Yeah,
You
so I
don't,
mean,
so you don't even know about Luffy and why he's starting at Gear 5.
so I was like, "Well, I'll give the new live action one a go," and then I was like, "This is fucking mental." So I gave up on that pretty quickly, and then I happened across a film that I hadn't seen before, which was the newer The Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman. That's a 3-hour.
Yeah, that's what's
beast.
That's what's put me off of it. I've seen it on come on Netflix. I'm like, I'll add it to my list, knowing full well I'm never going to fucking watch it.
I have to say, I'm
because it's
halfway
3
through
hours
that.
long.
I'm halfway through it, yeah.
How are you? I'm really enjoying it. It's a different film to the previous trilogy.
you know
It doesn't
what?
seem quite as frenetic or frantic, but as like a sort of murder mystery.
I've
like
heard it's a really
gothic.
good film, but 3 hours is really putting me off.
I
I'm
don't
enjoying
care
it.
about the length.
That's what she said.
As long as it's veiny.
As long as it's blue and veiny. I don't care about the length of it, but do you know what it is? I started watching it and I was like, this is enjoyable. Why is he dressed like a fucking bat? Like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's because it's like sort of really grounded in reality.
Yeah.
And because like the Joker is just like sort of normal and everyone's sort of
the
normal.
Riddler.
And the Riddler, sorry. Yeah, the Riddler is like normal. And because the Penguin's kind of normal, and I'm like, you dressed as a bat is now mental.
They almost could have toned it down even more so that he just.
But at that point,
wore
why
like
make it a
hoodie.
Batman film?
Yeah, it could have been like he wore a hoodie and maybe there was one moment where he looked a bit like a bat and got that nickname. But otherwise, he was like a vigilante that wasn't wearing like a bat costume.
Yeah, it's not doing it for me, I have to say, so far. But I'll stick with it.
I'm enjoying it.
I would say, actually, going back to One Piece, I had no idea about it at all until it came out on Netflix, the live action. Watched the live action, loved it so much. Admittedly, the first couple of episodes are weird, but you stick with it.
Yeah.
So brilliant. I then went and started from episode 1 in Crunchyroll and just started going through, because it's quite interesting, because then you have a grounding of what's happening, and then it's almost a one-to-one kind of episode per episode of the anime and the live action,
Right.
and so it's then like a nice way into it.
And then you've got enough anime to last you presumably for the rest of
of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think I'm on about episode 600 and something, so I've still got
From the
that
start.
number
from
again.
the start. I've still got about 6-7 years worth of it to catch up on.
Shit, yeah. See, I'm never going to be able to be that committed to
No,
anything or anyone.
I'll just sort of see it when I can.
Yeah.
I like, obviously, all the sort of the Christmassy films we've been watching and stuff, and all the stuff that's been on. But the only thing that I have seen that's kind of new and really interesting is the new series called Black Doves, which is the Keira Knightley, Ben Whitenshaw
What I
thing.
mentioned last time out.
Yeah, which I've now like finished and loved. I kind of thought it wasn't as interesting as it set itself up to be.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, all right.
Yeah, the first, I'd say the first 3 episodes are definitely stronger than the second 3.
Yeah, and you're just left with like, okay, that's wrapped up nicely, and like, I do want to see a second season and stuff, and like, there's plan, and I can see where it goes, but it just wasn't quite as like different as I think I thought it was going to be. But
fair.
Very good performances, very enjoyable. It's quite difficult these days in 6 episodes to really get you caring about characters.
Yeah.
But Keira Knightley and Ben Whitenshaw are fantastic actors. So yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
What about you, Jimbo?
Well, I've actually managed to fit in quite a lot, actually.
That's what she said.
Choose one.
And not just cheese. So yeah, I've started watching Silo.
Oh yeah, we watched that.
Started
Yeah,
giving that
that's
another
good.
watch, because I only watched the first couple of episodes, and then because I think I heard it got cancelled, so I stopped watching. I'm like, well, there's no fucking point.
But it didn't. It's back.
But it didn't.
and
It's
good.
back. So I picked it back up again. So I've started watching that.
Yeah.
I went to the cinema to watch Sonic 3 with my boy yesterday. Enjoyable. Yeah, I think if you're a Sonic fan, you're gonna get a lot more out of it. Because I'm sure there's a lot of like little nods to the games that I'm not picking up on.
Yeah, I was never a Sonic
The
fan.
Uber fans were definitely going to pick up on.
Right.
And other than that, and then obviously tease the 4th film, which is again bringing back more things to the games that people really want to see. And yeah, so I think it was an enjoyable little watch. My boy absolutely loved it, so it was a winner there. But the other thing I watched, which was last night, I actually watched something that Sam banged on about last time out, which was The Core.
Did you?
Oh, that's 2 hours of my life I'm never getting back.
Well, let me ask you this. On watching The Core, did you have any more of an appreciation for Sam's pitch in our last episode?
I appreciated how much worse Sam's pitch was
Than The Core.
than The Core, yes.
I think mine
Worse
made,
than, do you not think like Sam had such a better interpretation of what that film could have been?
mine made much more sense. They didn't have to go to the center of the earth. They just had to go into a really deep volcano.
See, you half-assed it. If you're going to do it properly.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Same as
at
the
least-
cheese
Just a
board,
really
man.
good-
Same as the
such a good
cheese board.
title.
At least this filmmaker was not afraid to go, you know what? Yeah, we could just do a volcano. Now, fuck it, we're going to the Earth's core.
At least with a title like The Core, right? There's no way of that being misinterpreted based on where you live on planet Earth. Whereas
Unless you're a flat earther. There is no core.
It's
There's
the edge.
the underneath.
Imagine showing that film to a flat earther.
Oh my god!
I want to do it.
I don't
Probably-
think flat
probably a
earthers.
great comedy.
I don't
Probably
think they
think
believe in
it's
cinema.
If you are a flat earther, let us know. I want to sit down with you and show you this film.
Oh, just don't. No, don't.
I will happily waste another 2 hours of my life to show you this film.
If you are a flat earther, we're coming to you from the other side of the world.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
These flat earthers might be in the UK. They're not. They're definitely American.
Well,
I know. I've got like I don't think I'm directly
you've got friends, have you?
acquainted,
Yeah.
but I've got some friends of friends who are like, oh yeah, he's a flat earther. I mean, like I reckon they're more prevalent
grab them
than
and
you
sit
know.
them down and go, we need to talk.
The thing is, mate, right? If you've got to that point
Yeah.
where you're happy to announce yourself as a flat earther, and you know, if that's you, all power to you. But if you're there, I don't think you're being swayed by some stranger being like that.
I honestly, I genuinely, it's in the same category. Like you can't convince them. It almost feels like you wouldn't try and convince somebody that there isn't God if they're really religious. You wouldn't try and convince somebody that the Earth isn't flat if they're a flat earther. Like they all just have their beliefs, and yeah, what can you do?
I kind of feel like there's certain questions about the mystery of the universe and existence that are like, maybe it is. It's like I think scientists recently.
But the Earth being round is not one of them.
Well, it's like, is there a God? Oh, we'll never know. Is the Earth flat? Well, walk for a bit. Find out.
Go up that massive mountain, and you'll soon see.
Yeah. It's just. Anyway. I digress. I feel like we've thrown Tremors to our listeners here.
Well,
yes.
The Core certainly threw Tremors through me, and it's very apt. As you know, the other film I partook in was this week's casserole, which is of course Tremors.
How do we get this added to the mega wheel?
I believe this was emailed to us or messaged via Instagram.
By a flat earther.
See?
I mean, if he is a flat earther, he's never mentioned anything, but I believe it's from one of our fans, Jack. So this episode's for you, mate.
Thank you, Jack.
Is that fucking French Tom?
Not French Tom.
Not French Tom.
The proper Jack.
Fucking hell.
French Tom is French Tom.
French Tom is French Tom.
Jack's Jack.
Jack is Jack.
Jack.
Jack set up a WhatsApp group.
Jack is Jack.
Well, guys, let me ask you this. Do you like a good creature feature? Because Tremors is...
Not a good creature feature.
I was just saying, where are you going with this one?
I'm just going to summarise the film.
If you can last longer than a minute, I think you've done a good summary on that.
That's what she said.
Well, it's a 1990 creature feature monster horror flick. It's directed by Ron Underwood. And this is quite an early sort of starring role. It's obviously after big things like Footloose and stuff, but this is a 1990s Kevin Bacon. You've got Fred Ward, and then you've got some other performances from Finn Carter, Michael Gross, Reba McEntire. And essentially, the film follows a small American town whereby handymen Val McKee and Earl Bassett, they wish to leave the small desert town of perfection. They want to go and make their own life out of there. They're tired of their dull lives. But they happen across mysterious deaths of the townsfolk. And it's not long before they discover that there are unnatural creatures burrowing in the ground below. Giant prehistoric worm-like monsters that are ravenous for the taste of human flesh. It's like one big human cheese board out there.
Yeah, I bet they're blue and veiny, aren't
You've done
they?
a better job of selling that film than I think anyone did in the writer's room.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know what?
That made me want to watch it.
I think almost it did. That sounded like a good film.
How many... We've spoken about this briefly, right? But I don't know if you know off the top of your head. This is the first... cannot get this from my head. This is the first of
5.
how many installments?
No.
5 Tremors
Is it
films.
5?
It's
I
5,
reckon
yeah.
there's more. I reckon there's like 7.
I think it's 5. I could only find 5.
Guys, let me tell you. This is the first film. It was followed by Tremors 2, Aftershocks. That was followed by Tremors 3, Back to Perfection. Then there was Tremors 4, The Legend Begins. Then there was Tremors 5, Bloodlines. Then they were Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell, which was followed by Tremors: Shrieker Island, which was in 2020.
Fucking hell.
So there is 7. Oh, I was right.
Jesus Christ.
And let us not forget the television series, Tremor, the series.
Jesus.
So they've somehow managed to span this franchise over 30 years.
Do you know what?
Obviously, it had an impact.
I
Fucking
saw that that there was a Tremors called Back to Perfection, but it wasn't until this rewatching that I realised the town was called Perfection. So I was like,
That's
they think this film was perfection.
They thought the first film was so good.
Back to Perfection is bigging
Back to
yourself
where
up a
we
bit.
get fucking
It's like
hell.
they knew they fucked up on the first sequel, and so that was like a statement. We're going back to our roots on this one.
Tremors 3, forget the second one.
Well, so that was a fantastic summary. Do I need to go round and get your brief thoughts on this?
Well, see, it's interesting actually. Like, my brief thought is, if it's kind of, which I think it is, sort of knowingly poking fun and a bit tongue-in-cheek, it's all right. Like, it's a fun romp, and actually, rewatching it, it's a very well-paced film. Like, the sort of set pieces happen sort of, you know, at nice timely intervals. They ramp up quite nicely. They, you know, hold back the reveal of the creature like all good creature features should. And then, like, there's kind of like some fun moments, there's some bonding moments, and then ultimately, you know, there's 4 of them and they sort of kill them off sort of different ways. It's a really nicely paced film. And I would say for me, it's the only issue is actually sort of the design of the creature is like, oh, and then you see it and you're like, I wouldn't be scared of that in 100 years. It's like a bogey. Like, there was nothing. I mean, for me, obviously, being a bit of an arachnophobe, lots of leg scares me. So this having no legs, I was like, I'm all right. It's fine. Like, it's fine. So yeah, I think for me, other than the design of the creature, it is actually quite fun. It's fine. It's good.
You know, I think this was one of the first kind of, to say it again, like horror survival comedy creature features that I remember as like probably like an early teen or something. I think probably what's changed in more modern cinema, which is why maybe we could look back at this as being, I think you could look back and say it was a bit tame. Is that we are almost, to me, I don't know where there would have been films before this, but it almost spawned for me in my head like that comedy horror kind of film, which I think like other films have gone on to do and follow a similar kind of template. Because I agree with you, Sam. I think the pacing is really good in this film. I think there's some great kind of interaction comedy moments, particularly between the two male leads in Kevin Bacon's character and Fred Ward's. I was almost anticipating, I was almost surprised when it wasn't there. I was expecting more kind of absurd gore and over-the-top kind of comedy, sort of hijinks and stuff. And actually, it doesn't. It sort of treads a fine line, doesn't it, between going too far in one direction, too far in the horror and the gore, or too far in the kind of hijinks and the comedy. And I think because of that, it's got quite a nice sort of pleasant line it's treading. But there were times where I was like, I would want to see like one of the worms bop up and like just suck someone's head off. Yeah, I wanted to see like crazy. But I think it's because a lot of that kind of extreme violence. So what is this, 1990?
Yeah.
So there absolutely was like, you know, extreme violence in films. But,
like Hellraisers and stuff were around that time.
But probably not in that kind of comedy, which was aimed at probably, you know, like a 12A kind of audience. Probably not to that extent. Whereas now we'd see, what would be a good example of like, you know, even not that far after, you've got films like Mars Attacks, for example.
Like fucking Final Destinations. Whereas they can be quite...
Are they
graphic.
comedy?
Well,
Yeah, I'd say they
kind of
Really?
are.
I'd
Yeah.
definitely put Final Destination in that kind of comedy bracket.
But also maybe like, again, like creature
Or
flicks.
something like Idle Hands, maybe?
I'm thinking like sort
Yeah.
of Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah.
That's the one I was trying to think of.
It's those
Eight-Legged
kind of
Freaks.
films
Slither.
where there is Slither.
Slither's really good.
Slither's really good. And I feel like this is kind of a precursor to those kind of films.
Yes.
But because it didn't have those extreme moments, kind of, it did feel a little bit tame to me. But it was an enjoyable watch.
It's definitely kind of more the comedy side than, say, like Arachnophobia or Anaconda.
Yeah.
Like Anaconda's like, that's quite like a psychological, like the people turn on each other kind of thing. And
when I think about Anaconda, by the way, the only image in my head is John Voight, like covered in slime.
Yeah, John Voight when he breaks at the end. That's gross.
Speaking of Anaconda, how are you feeling about the Jack Black remake?
Is there?
God, is there?
Yeah.
What?
Is he the snake? Get it, dude!
Captain Kelsey's real. I want to say it's Kevin Hart, but I think I'm very wrong with saying that. But it's Jack Black and someone else.
It was Kevin Bacon.
And they've just recently announced, the Anaconda remake.
Of course there is. Do you know what? Kong was pretty good. The King Kong remake. That was a Jack
Kong.
Right. Yeah.
I like that. That was Peter Jackson.
Which one? The Peter Jackson one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's the one I haven't seen.
I like that. That's long. It's long. I think. Just sorry, Jim. I don't want to. I know brief thing, but I really hit on why I think this one. It was kind of an experiment, and because a lot of the beats they tried to get, I think, were sort of inspired by Jaws and that kind of thing. Because they're there, and then suddenly it comes up and grabs somebody and kind of back and forth, and then drags them under and kind of thing. But I think the reason it's just not as scary is because that doesn't have our core. Like when you see an open body of water, I think most people are nervous by it. Like what could be down there?
Yeah.
But you see Earth and you're like rocks and shit. Like there's not that kind of there's lots of shots where they're looking across the desert and what could be just beneath. And I think most of us are like
that's a massive expanse.
Nothing.
Like nothing.
Yeah. And so I think it just it doesn't kind of trick your lizard brain primordial fears in the way that say a shot of just the ocean would.
Yeah. But I wonder why. I don't know if have you seen this before, Jim?
No. This is my first time watching this one.
Because this is one
I've seen this a lot for some reason.
It's one of those of as a young teenager, you've got memories of guys, you see Tremors. It was, and because of that, it was a well grounded into my sort of early sort of film experiences. Right, Jim, go.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm probably in the middle. I think with both of you. I mean, this is definitely a bad film, but
is it a good bad film?
For me, it falls into the bracket where I would put your Starship Troopers.
Come on.
It's a good bad film.
But you cannot put this in the same category as Starship Troopers
because you are wrong about Starship Troopers, and we're not going into it. But you are wrong about Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers is a good bad film.
Okay.
This is a good bad film. It's just nowhere near that level. So it's way below your Starship Troopers on that good bad film scale. But it falls into that bracket.
All right, I get.
I wouldn't call this
so
a satire, though, would you? This is not This is not satiring.
Well, no, but neither Starship Troopers, so that's fine.
Well, okay. Well,
and we're not going into that. But this is just a good bad film, but not but more bad than good.
Okay.
Do you know what? Right.
With some, I think it's well paced. I think for me personally, did a better job of the hidden creature than Jaws. Because
what the shit?
Well, Jaws is fucking obvious. It's a shark. You say you've got all the going across the scope of the ocean. You know Jaws is a shark. You're expecting a shark. You know what's coming. With this, you don't know what's coming.
You don't know. You don't
know what's coming. So for me, it's a better reveal than that of Jaws because you know what to expect with Jaws. You know to expect a big shark.
Jaws has never claimed to be holding back what its monster is.
Right, which is why it's done a better... Which is why this is, because it's holding back what it is. You don't know what it's meant to be until they reveal it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a better use of the big monster.
Who thought that Tremors would be the episode where we all just remember that Jim doesn't like Jaws or Starship Troopers?
Hang on, no, I do like Starship Troopers.
Right. Okay.
You keep misquoting me with that.
Well, you say it's not a satire and you're putting it in the same category as Tremors. So forgive me if I don't think you have enough respect.
It's a bad film that's just good.
He
Keep
likes
that motherfucking film out your motherfucking mouth.
As a bad B movie that's so bad it's good, in that vein, rather than a really clever film that's trying to come across like a B movie and being really clever in its satire. It's a different interpretation.
Yeah, different interpretation. He's allowed a different interpretation.
So that's what I mean. The some of the acting is just awful. Truly awful.
In Tremors?
Oh, horrendous.
Is it? Well,
I think I almost felt they may have been running out of money and they couldn't do some cuts because one of the lines, Kevin Bacon's line, I wrote it down because I was like, he did not just say that, and I rewound it and he did say this. He went, I can't remember where the set was, but he went, "What is going on?" Then he went, "Oh, I mean, what the hell is going on?" And I'm like, and that was one line. I was like, "Were you meant to have cut and done another cut? Have you ran out of funding that you have to just keep rolling here?" Because that was so... I was like, what the fuck is that line?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I do actually. They're inside the general store, and I think what he's trying to convey is he's like, what's going on? I mean, like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
Like, he's like building up.
But the way he
like,
says it, it's almost like he fucks up first time, and it's like, I mean, wait, what the? And he really then accentuates it more, and it feels like it was like meant to have been like a cut, but then like, they couldn't cut yet, just keep fucking going.
Okay.
And then I mean, that's how I was like, what the fuck is this?
I don't think. I mean, I think he's got better, and I think he's actually much better at villainous characters. Kevin Bacon is not an amazing actor.
No, I mean, you could argue...
Oh,
And he's got better with age.
Yeah. I think in this one he's playing off of...
I mean, I can't say I've seen a great deal of...
Well, he's very good in X-Men First Class.
I think that's probably one of the few X-Men I've
He's
not
good
seen.
in that. He's
He was
scary.
alright in the...
EE commercials.
No, I think was it Axel F, the latest Beverly Hills Cop? I think he was the villain in that. He was alright in that.
He's fine, but yeah, he's got better with age, I would say.
Yeah, and I think he's playing opposite, who is very well regarded and talented actor in Fred Ward as well. And
Fred Ward's brilliant.
Like, no
What
one's
else
doing
has Fred
their
Ward been in?
Loads, absolutely loads.
Because he's been in loads, but I now can't think.
He was one of those faces where I was like, I recognise him.
Escape from Alcatraz, 30 Minutes or Less. Like early stuff, like The Incredible Hulk, 79. Loads of stuff.
I feel like he's in a war film that I really know him from, like maybe not Dirty Dozen, but something like that. Maybe Kelly's Heroes or something.
Could well be.
He really
He's got one of those really recognisable, like chiseled faces, isn't he? As well. But a load of stuff. True Detective as well.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, no one's winning Oscars in this film.
Oh,
let's
God,
put
no.
this out there. This is not what that film is. It's a little bit of B movie slice of horror comedy fun.
It made me want. It did make me want to watch at least the second one. Because it's one of them where I'm like, this is like really bad but really good, and I'm like, I want to see how bad it gets. It's got like that Sharknado effect that people are like,
Jesus.
I've never watched the first one, but people fucking scream over the rest of them. They're like, yeah, we want to see where it goes.
I can understand
I'm
that.
like, I want to see how mental this goes.
And arguably, it probably does get more.
Yeah.
Like with the budget's probably got smaller, and the quality of the people involved got smaller.
It became knowingly more and more B movie.
I mean, amazingly, the writers involved in this film, so predominantly S. Wilson, they did this, or they sold this script, one of their older ideas, but they got this into production off the back of the success of the script they wrote for Short Circuit.
Oh.
So there's like really talented writers involved in the creation of this film.
So what the fuck happened with this?
Have you seen Short Circuit?
Probably when I was very, very little.
Okay.
Have you seen
So
Short Circuit
we'll
2?
just go with no,
Okay.
because it's probably been about 30 years, and the chance of me remembering even a second of that film,
Oh, mate.
next to none.
I've seen
Such a good film.
I've seen Short Circuit 2 way more than I've seen the first one.
Same. It's
Like-
kind of like Home Alone for me.
Yeah. The second one's more child friendly, I think.
It's so good.
Just worked out where I know Frank Ward from.
Go on.
He's the bad guy in Naked Gun 33 and a third.
Nice.
I saw that
And I
on the list,
remember
and
it being like,
you
driven.
They are such good films.
Naked Gun films are amazing. I watched last night Airplane, where he's like, I just wanted to say, we're all counting on you. Good luck. It's so
Those
good.
films are just such a good, like, easy watch to just chuck on and be like, oh,
So good.
Right, Jim, let me ask you this.
yes,
Purely on an instinct level,
yes.
is Tremors a better film than Jaws? In your opinion? You said Jaws was shit.
It was shit.
So
But-
is Tremors more shit than Jaws,
It was
in
more-
your opinion?
No. I had a better time watching Tremors, but it's not a better film.
That's fair.
Okay. But you really shout all over
Yeah,
Jaws.
because I just think everything they went for with Jaws just didn't land.
So arguably, in your opinion, I would say, in your experience, Tremors is a better film than Jaws.
I mean, it did hit... Oh, no, it can't be.
But why not? Don't lie to yourself.
No,
I
he's
enjoyed
right.
it.
It can't be.
Yeah, but what?
I enjoyed it more, so for that reason, yes. But only because I enjoyed it more than Jaws. But I've obviously if you actually put them as a film study, no. But for my enjoyment level, yes.
Fair.
It's fair.
You like what you like.
You like what you like.
You like what you like.
Some people like a blue cheese.
Some people like a smoked cheese.
And some people just eat out of the fucking trash.
Right.
I was hungry, all right?
I think on this note we should pop down onto the plate on meatball ratings.
I am gonna whack my balls on the plate.
Jim, let's start with you.
Are you actually going to plural your balls on this one, or is it going to be a solitary just ball? Is it even going to get a ball?
Yeah, it gets at least one ball. Yeah, Jim, you go first. Yeah, I'm
going first this time.
I'm still fondling my balls to see how many I want to pop down.
I mean, I think it's going to have to be like you take your foot long sub. It's going to have to be cut down to a 6-inch because you're not even entertaining the full 5 meatball. So you got to cut it down to a 6-inch sub.
Surely do you get more than 5 meatballs in a foot long?
Have you been to a Subway lately?
I reckon you get 3
Other
per
sandwich
6.
shops.
Other sandwich shops are, of course, available.
I reckon it's 6 to a foot long.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
That's 1.5, I'd say.
1.5.
1.5 ball.
Okay.
Meatball, I reckon.
Okay. I'll counter that. I would award it the same rating that I gave Armageddon, and that is 2.5 meatballs.
2.5.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Yeah,
Did you?
yeah.
I don't think
I
it's
don't
as good as Armageddon.
I don't think you went that high on Armageddon.
Yeah, I did like 2.5.
Yeah, you did.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to think again about you.
I'm factoring in nostalgia here as well. Nostalgia is. Do you know what? Interestingly, this film at the time, critically, was pretty well received.
I mean,
this film was getting like 4 out of 5s.
I can see why it was critically well received because he's. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. But
It's
genuinely,
fine.
if someone said to you, "You can never watch this film again," you'd be like, "No." Right.
I feel the same way about Armageddon.
I don't think my life has changed from watching this film.
No.
But there is a difference between 2.5 and 5 stars.
There is.
Like 1. If I'm giving something 1, that's only 1 away from Rebel Moon. So just to put that into perspective.
Yeah. I would see. I'm torn between 1.5 and 2. Like, I feel like it. Like, I have no problem with this film. I just want to say off the bat, I have no problem with it. I enjoy it. It's fine. But from an analytical standpoint, the acting's bad, the script is bad, the creature design is bad, the music is nothing. Like, the sound is
Did you
nothing.
not like there is a recurring little sound theme whenever the creatures are around? It's like that.
With everything
you
you're
notice
listing
that?
off here, Sam, I'm starting to feel like you're not going to give it a meatball.
Well, but this is the thing. Like, where do I come on this? Like, because it's enjoyable, but it's a terrible film. Like, it's like it could be made by a. Like, YouTubers make better films now.
You know what, is it fair to say?
I probably should have pointed out in my with my meatball rating, it's got one of the thickest deaths ever in this film, and that is my namesake, Jim. It is the thickest cunt I've ever seen in a film.
Which one's
He's
Jim?
the one that's sat in the back of the car with his wife, and then the generator goes, and then he walks to check it,
And gets
but
sucked
then,
down.
When they do the shot from behind, the car is 10 feet away. It's no like. You telling me you could not see from the back of your car that generator's disappeared? That you can literally see it's that close.
It's meant to be pitch black, so he's got the torch out. But for the audience's benefit, they filmed it.
But also, like sometimes you know when you're watching Alien and they're like, go into that room, and they're like, oh my god, why would you go into that room? Like, there's something. They're in the middle of a desert. It wouldn't enter their head that like something might suck them under the ground and eat them.
But I also feel like this is you being very critical about weirdly specific parts in the film.
I do think it's stupid that she doesn't get out of the car when it's being sucked under the ground.
Yeah.
Like that's
hers
silly.
is arguably more stupid.
Yeah.
Do you know,
Get out of the fucking gun.
what's the shame about this film is I think there's
1.5 meatballs.
all right, thanks.
You settle on it, 1.5.
1.5.
In another dimension, the premise of this film is so good on the base on the face of it, right? For what it is. I don't mean like Oscar. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, I think there could have been a version of this film that got everything it needed to right. Does that feel like really well? Like, I think the up the gore a bit, up some of the slapstick a bit. I think you could have just really amped it up. And whereas I think some critics were like, oh, and I initially felt like it had that tight line between not too much on the comedy side, not too much on the horror side. I think it needed a bit more of both.
Yeah.
And it could have been a really funny...
I feel like they pitched it Jaws on land.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely think, like, when is it safe to walk back on the ground? Like,
but it's not even trying to be like seriously scary, is it?
No.
It's so kind of like tame in all regards.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.5 is too...
yeah, this is the thing.
I'll go 2.
Like, you said that Bruce Willis made you genuinely a bit teary.
Not him. It was the walk at the end when they're all hugging everyone. It was the music. It's the music.
Exactly, right? But
the music.
anything in Tremors making you cry?
No.
Yeah, 1.5 meatballs for me.
Well, cry from the fact he's having to watch the film, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, it should have upped everything. Like, you know the scene in the general store where the shop owner gets taken. The grab boy comes under and he's like, "Arr!" He's getting sucked down. Right? What should have happened there is like blood and gore should have literally been spraying up all over, and he should have been getting dragged around and just literally covering everyone. Eventually it sucks him under, and there's that hilarious moment of silence where everyone's covered in gore and just staring open-mouthed at what just happened. Like, it's that level, I think, of absurdity that's missing.
Something like happens in Starship Troopers, where, he gets bitten off and they manage to pull him back, but he's half a person now, and he's like, kill me. And you're like, oh, fucking hell. And he like slowly dies in their arms. Yeah,
that would have mattered a lot more. Just like, shopkeeper's gone.
Shopkeeper. Oh, that shopkeeper that diddled everyone out of their money's gone.
He was a good businessman.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Should we say if we can make any improvements to the cast?
I dare say we can.
Right then, let's cast some new roles.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, this week we're not doing the full cast. We're just doing name checks.
Val and Ed.
Yes, we're doing Valentine or Val, played by Kevin Bacon, and Earl, played by Fred Ward.
Yeah,
and then
we've each got a pick.
Then we're each going to kind of pick another one of the townsfolk that we've kind of each kind of picked up a couple of names for.
Yeah.
And kind of go with that. So who wants to throw out their Val and Earl first?
I'm happy to dive in.
Yeah, no, all right. You go for it.
The first lead.
Can I predict that you have chosen Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn?
I mean, I hadn't, but now that you say it. Right, no, I'll keep this simple. I'm going straight in. Off the back of us discussing in Armageddon last episode, that originally one of the actors that auditioned for AJ was a young Bradley Cooper. I have popped in a young Bradley Cooper.
Do you know what? Do you know who also on my list? Bradley Cooper.
There you go.
However,
you know
however, he was the name I've not picked.
Well,
and you know what? I haven't.
No, I didn't.
He's actually the name that was I suggested, and then I came up with another name instead.
So I popped him in as Val. I think, like, obviously through films like The Hangover and stuff, he's got like the leading character charisma. He needs to have that little bit of charisma with the sort of the love interest that's going on with Finn Carter's character Rhonda, who's like the graduate student in geology that's out there in the desert. And then I kind of went with a slight change of direction for Earl Bassett, and I have gone with someone slightly less kind of grizzled, but definitely got the comedy chops, and that is Bryan Cranston.
You know,
kind of go with like a
nice.
Malcolm in the Middle dad era
Cranston,
kind of Cranston. I think he's just so funny in so much of the comedy stuff that he does. I just feel like he'd really up that comedy level and be able to interact with the cast and like interact with the creatures and stuff. So I've gone with that, and then I'm just going to throw out there a choice for Burt Gummer, who is the character that is holed up sort of outside the town.
Doomsday guy, isn't he?
Him and his wife, they're sort of the doomsday.
He's like the Human National Rifle Association.
Right, and they have that great scene, and I'd forgotten about this, but this was probably the one where as a kid I was like, oh, fuck yeah, was where the worms attack their compound, sort of a little bit outside the town, and burst through the wall, and they've got all those guns up on the rack, and they're just pulling guns off of the rack.
And he says, what does he say? He says, "You broke into the wrong room, you fucker."
And like 13-year-old me was probably like, oh, there's guns. So yeah, I've got a little pick for him, originally played by Michael Gross, and I would like to throw in a mustachioed Paul Rudd into that character. The really kind of camping up, the kind of really having fun with it, I think could be a lot of fun.
So you're kind of with your you're almost leaning more towards the comedy side of things, Sam.
I think so, yeah, because I think deep down
because you wanted this film to pick a lane, really, didn't you?
Well, I feel like it does a good job of treading a fine balance, but I wish it did more in both.
You prefer to have amped it up a bit on one side of the fence or the other, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I wanted less serious horror, which it hasn't got a lot of, let's be fair. I wanted to lean more into the comedy and more of the absurd kind of gory elements. That's where I feel like the ridiculous gore is warranted, whereas in something like Deadpool Wolverine, yes, it's a comedy, but the violence was so kind of... parts of it was super realistic, like people's kneecaps were being chopped off and stuff, and it was very like, ha, isn't this all funny? Whereas I think you need something that shows the absurdity of the horror of what's happening, and someone being sucked under by a giant worm creature is absurd, and that's where you, like, with the blood and guts flowing everywhere, it actually adds to the comedy element of it. So that would be my interpretation of this film.
Nice.
I like it. Yeah.
There you go.
Do you want to go next, Sam?
I'll go.
I'm going to round out the trio this week.
So I did a couple of picks for each one. For Val, Kevin Bacon, I thought like an old. I thought he's kind of like unconventionally good looking, isn't he? He's not like. He's like slightly strange looking, good looking guy. So I kind of went for similar kind of people.
Well, of course, this is no slight on the people page.
No, but like Bradley Cooper. I think everyone would look at Bradley Cooper and be like, "Whoo,
sure,
good looking man." I think people look at Kevin Bacon and be like, he's kind of like, he's a bit different looking but good looking.
Yeah.
So sort of an alternative pick. I kind of Adrian Brody. Mm-hmm. Kind of think he could kind of, because he's kind of like action star, but he's not really an action star. Like, you didn't really buy him in Predators.
That was such a weird.
It was such a weird casting, and like he did well to butch up, but you were like, mate, did they accidentally take like the tech guy from the library as opposed to like the, you know?
Get back to the OC, mate.
Yeah,
it was just weird when the last thing I think I'd recently seen him in prior to that was The Pianist. It was such like a big step.
Then my outside pick, which actually I think might be my pick, is Matt Smith. You know, the guy that plays Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I just think
cool.
he's like
choice,
a really interesting look, and he can kind of go zany, but kind of serious.
Not bad option,
But my Hollywood pick, but like I like Matt Smith, would be the Jeremy Allen White, who's in The Bear, and he's the new Fantastic Four, and he's in Iron Claw.
I like Matt Smith.
I think Matt Smith's the better option.
I think Matt Smith's good,
because this should be a really zany, quirky.
This is the thing, and I didn't want to go for like
that kind of space.
Tip top. I mean, I think Jeremy Allen White probably is now sort of A-list, but
yeah.
So yeah, Matt Smith, I think he'd be really good, kind of zany, kind of. So Fred Ward, they're all quite classic names. So for my Hollywood one, Ron Perlman.
Nice.
I mean,
he's
grizzled. My alternative pick, but I think probably he couldn't be because he survives, would be Sean Bean.
He'd read the script and be like, well, this won't work.
Exactly. But my outside pick, which I think is Gary Busey.
Yes.
I think Gary Busey and Matt Smith would be a genius combo.
What a pairing!
What a pairing!
So again, you've gone down the more comical route of it then.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think I don't want to go as far as like a scary movie type kind of comedy.
I don't think there's any universe where this film is trying to be a Jaws-esque horror film, is it? It knows what it is. I just think it's not stepping far enough into the comedy.
I think there probably is a world where it could be, though.
Well, maybe.
I think with a bit, obviously, better writing and things like that, I think there is a world where this film can be that.
Yeah, I think you could do it really trying to be
obviously,
really
with this
scary.
film, Tremors very much knows the lane it's in, but I think there is a world where it can be a bit more.
Yeah.
I think if you don't see the creature, almost ever. You know,
maybe not until like right at the end,
and then it's just sort of a tube with teeth or something.
Just a big mouth out like the ground.
Beak thing. Anyway, so that would be my two: Matt Smith, Gary Busey.
Love it.
And then I kind of had a couple of names for townsfolk, but my main one is, I think, for like the annoying kid.
And he's the one always playing pranks on
the
everyone.
boy who cries wolf and stuff. I think a younger Will Poulter.
Oh
yeah,
I think he'd be good.
He'd be spot on for that.
Yeah, you know what? He's annoying, and
would you rewrite so that the kid does meet an untimely munching?
No, I don't think I would. I think I'd have him nearly get caught and do the classic like, "Whoa, my God!" like the thing that Will Poulter does, which is like kind of very like, you know, glocular. And then it's like, oh, thinking of him in like the Narnia film where he's very like, I can't believe this is happening to me.
But in a sort of southern...
I can't believe this is happening to me. God, you get out of here, y'all. He's got a very old man now. But yeah, I think Will Poulter. But yeah, so that would be my picks.
It's not
I love
bad
it.
choices. I like it.
Right, come on then, Jimbo.
Well, I've actually gone the complete opposite direction to you two, and I've actually gone for a more serious.
Fucking Daniel Day-Lewis.
I've actually gone on the line of like if they actually like lessen the comedy and up the gore and horror element of it.
Okay.
So my pickings, my choosings, my castings.
My pickings.
So for Val, obviously, as I mentioned, I considered Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
But I've actually gone with Austin Butler.
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean he's
And then
he's super good.
alongside him playing Earl, I thought because he's very grizzly, I thought I'd up the grizzly again.
Yeah.
And throw in John Bernthal.
John Bernthal. Yeah. I mean,
Obviously,
to be
you don't know,
fair,
he's obviously Predator,
Fred Ward.
been in Walking Dead.
Yep.
So, I think there's a lot of Fred Ward in his character from in Shane the Walking Dead.
He's up there
So-
on the grizzometer.
They
So-
look very similar as well.
And so I was like, it just was an easy pick. My other option for that was Oscar Isaacs.
Yep.
Yeah, he's nice.
So but I like John Bernthal.
I can't see Oscar Isaacs anything but a villain now, though. He's like
Really?
a bad guy in everything.
Really?
Yeah.
From what?
Well, from the Harry Potter films and from The Patriot.
Okay. Yes.
Harry Potter? Who's in Harry Potter?
Oscar Isaacs. Oh, Oscar Isaacs. Sorry, I'm thinking. It's a
You are
different
thinking
Isaacs. It's a different Isaacs. Guys, come back to me.
I know who you're thinking
you
of.
threw me then. I was like, I do not remember Oscar Isaacs in Harry Potter.
You're right.
Oscar Isaacs is Duke Leto in Dune, right?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not grizzled enough, but
my
an
other-
amazing actor.
My other pick, I had one for Rhonda LeBeck, who's of course the love interest. So
Jason Isaacs is who I was thinking.
Yes.
Jason
Okay.
Isaacs.
Very
very different person.
very different Isaacs. So yeah, so my other option was Rhonda LeBeck, who I obviously is the love interest in the film. Had a couple options for them. First one, quite not really obvious one, Alison Brie
Alison Brie.
from Community. She's done, I can't think what film. She's done a lot of films, but she's very
done
pretty.
loads.
She's very good. But my actual choice is Lily Collins, who you may know from Emily in Paris, or I believe she played the wife. I believe she might play Tolkien's wife in Tolkien.
I like Alison Brie. Have you guys seen Glow?
I've not seen Glow, but I've heard she's really good in it.
I thought you'd be into that as a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I've not. It's just one of them shows that I've never really got around to.
It's really, really good. It's well worth a watch.
Yeah, so my pick is Lily Collins.
Okay.
I Love Rosie is what I really know her from. Yeah, she's good. And The Mortal Instruments, which was terrible. I think she's good.
Yeah, so that's my trio.
I
Austin Butler, John Bernthal, and then Lily Collins.
had a weird pick for her, just as a crazy one, which is, I don't really know how to pronounce her last name, but it's Christine Milotti. She's the one from How I Met Your Mother. She's the one he ends up with. And I think she's also in the Penguin series now.
Christine
she's
Milotti, did you say?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's really good.
She's really good.
Yeah.
And she's in that, what's that one with Andy Samberg?
And
She's in Wolf of
Samberg, you're
Wall
talking
Street.
about Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, yeah. It's the Groundhog Day type film.
Never
not seen
even,
it?
Never even heard of it.
Who was I thinking of? Andy Serkis.
You've seen Andy Serkis. Andy Samberg is the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Nine-Nine.
yeah.
But yeah, so basically Palm Springs is like Groundhog Day, where they're both stuck in a time loop and they keep playing the same day at this party.
Oh, cool.
It's quite good, actually.
Yeah.
Might be worth a watch. So that is our casts.
It's a good cast, man. I mean, like, are we going to pick who? Because, I will.
I don't know. I think we should just throw it out to the socials again.
Throw it out to the socials.
Do it.
I think as always, because we're never going to decide. So I think give it to the socials.
So who are?
I have got a little soft spot for Matt Smith, though. I think if we could do a little sneaky meeting between the two of us, Sam, Matt Smith, your Matt Smith and my Cranston.
I mean,
if you were going down the more comedy route of it, they would be the two picks I would go for.
Cranston's definitely better than Busey.
So obviously, I'm well aware my two do not fit in your castings.
Yeah,
I think we've gone with two very different routes. But if I were to choose, I would definitely go the Matt Smith and Bryan Cranston route.
That's Matt Smith and Bryan Cranston. Fuck it, we're not going to pass it to the polls. They can fuck off.
We still are.
But you're going to lose.
This might be one I lose, but
it's an immature Matt Smith with a little Cranston pickle.
Oh, if you will. Cranston pickle!
Wow, love it.
Sorry.
So, as I said, that is our castings. Like, there will be a poll going up on our X, and if I can work out how to do them over on our Blue Sky as well. I don't believe we're doing a Mega Wheel this week, are we? Because next time out, we're going to treat you to a lovely little review, providing me and Sam don't piss our pants, of Nosferatu. Yes, we're going to try and
I cannot wait to go and watch this.
We're going to go find the time to go to the cinema and watch a bit of Nosferatu.
Yeah. So I've suggested this because we went to the cinema previously to watch Deadpool and Wolverine. That was. I'm really glad that we did that. I hadn't been to cinema for ages prior to that, so it gave me a little bit of like a wanting to get back in the cinema. But I guess like to go and watch a film that typically would be something that I'd like to go and experience in the cinema. And this has been a film that I've been really excited about. I think I haven't yet watched. So of Robert Eggers' films, I think he's done amazing work. I haven't watched The Northman yet.
I haven't. I've seen bits of it, but I've not seen the whole thing.
Yeah, so that's one I'd really like to go. But it looks incredible. I absolutely loved The Lighthouse. I thought that was such a good film. I think The Witch was an amazing film.
The Witch was fucking scary.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see like how he treats this kind of holy or unholy source material. Right, it's like up there with, it's like going out to handle Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It's there as like one of the sort of holy trinities of kind of
so
horror.
Is Nosferatu a film that's been done previously?
Nosferatu is the basically first vampire film.
Yeah, like 1930s kind of classic.
So it predates like a lot of them then, is it?
It is kind of. I don't think there's a pre-vampire film.
Possibly not. I mean, it's like
vampires
one
are
of the
like
long-standing cornerstones of like those first horror.
It like invented all the tropes of like coming from the shadows and sort of coming up out of the coffin and the pale skin, and I think even turning into a bat was Nosferatu, wasn't it?
Possibly, yeah. That trans.
Yeah.
So but as far as like versions go, is there only like the first one then, like this one, or is there others that have been done?
There's loads of films and interpretations. There's obviously the Bram Stoker's Dracula, the famous with Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves. Which I actually thought was a really good...
Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yeah, Renfield.
Renfield!
That's it, yeah. So yeah, there's loads of takes of this really, really, really famous classic source material. But I think this will be a really interesting vision and version of it. Obviously, the cast is massive. That is amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
You've got Willem Dafoe. He's
the only one I know who's in it, because he's the only face I've seen. I don't know anyone else in the film.
You've got who's the guy that's played?
Get the cast up.
Who played it in the new?
Skarsgård.
Yes, so he plays.
Is it
Bill?
Bill, that's the younger Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård. Lily Rose Depp. Whoever that is. Emma Corrin. Oh, Nicholas Hoult. Okay. Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Okay.
I think Nicholas Hoult plays Renfield, which is really funny because Nicholas Hoult plays Renfield in the...
Where he plays someone called Thomas Hutter.
But it's the same kind of character,
yeah.
I think it's a character that finds himself becoming like the slave or the henchman to Dracula.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson, I suppose he's got to do something that quells the vile taste of Craven, whatever it was.
Yeah, that was not well received.
Was it not?
No. It got like worse reviews. I think it's like the worst reviewed film of last year.
Yeah.
I think even it got worse reviewed than like Madam Web, and that was a fucking dumpster fire.
Oh no. I mean, they'll make anything these days if it's vaguely superhero related, won't they?
Well, obviously this is meant. Obviously, Craven's one was maybe like one of the big Spider-Man villains, but they just decided to go, no, he can have his own solo film.
This is the thing. This is so weird. I know we've gone off track, but why nobody in the fucking world other than Marvel executives do you know what everyone wants to see? A film about one of the Spider-Man villains. Like, no one gives a shit. They were good because they were foils for Spider-Man. Like, that's it, right?
But obviously they are just absolutely plumbing the depths now of all of that material.
But why are they plumbing the depths? Do a live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man?
I don't know.
I really hope that's what they introduce in the new one.
Yeah,
because I believe Tom Holland has signed on for another one.
Yeah, he has.
And I really hope they introduce Miles Morales and then go from there.
Or not. Like, Tom Holland's still young. He can still do it. Do another Tom Holland Spider-Man.
I think it's got to get to a point now where Tom Holland goes, no, because he's just getting pigeonholed now.
I don't think he is.
I think he is.
I think he's
getting a bit pigeonholed in his roles.
But he's done Spider-Man. He's not going to get more pigeonholed for doing more Spider-Man. Like, he's done it now. Like Robert Downey Jr. He did like fucking 8 Iron Man films, or was Iron Man in 8 films. He's not like, once he was Iron Man, he was Iron Man. He wasn't going to get more pigeonholed for doing more of them. He could get bored of doing it. Maybe Tom Holland's bored of doing it, but I just don't like Marvel executives. I think it's one of those things where, you know, like you see it for a lot of people, like, you know, really diva-esque singers and stuff, or, you know, like people, and they just make mistakes, like, you know, like who's the fucking director that we always make fun of, oh my god, the Transformers films, Michael Bay. Is like, Michael Bay did some good films early on, but then I think he like started saying like, oh, but what if there was like fucking a pink monkey, and everyone's like, oh, Michael Bay, you're amazing, yeah, let's put a pink monkey in it. And it's just like, they're surrounded by yes people, and they get too powerful that people don't say no. And so some executive was like, you know what, Craven would be a really good stand-up film. And like, oh yeah, that was a great idea, sir. No, it's not a fucking great idea. It's a shit idea. No one thinks it's a good idea.
It's that sense checking of like, just a minute, hang on, who's actually asking for this? But you never know. There might be like a really hardcore fan base who are, or no, they surely do.
But why are you making a film for a really
people.
hardcore fan base?
Yeah,
that's a terrible idea.
But I think
they be respectful of the fan base always. But you need to make it accessible to everyone.
For me, Craven would have been better suited as, like you said, a foil for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You could have done a really good film of Spider-Man versus Craven.
Yeah,
you really could have, because back with the early animated series, those were some of the best episodes when Spider-Man was against Craven.
I mean, the best Spider-Man was against Kingpin. The fact that we haven't got like a Spider-Man versus what's his name, Kingpin, is a travesty. The one from Deadpool.
Well, it's because they paired Kingpin off with Daredevil.
Yeah, but there's no crossover. Like, who the fuck cares? Just do what people want. Well, it's not that difficult. You can print money if you just have Kingpin versus Spider-Man in a film. It's not even difficult. So we haven't got a mega wheel. We're going to go see Nosferatu.
Yeah,
he's a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
Do we want an audio aperitif?
You point at me then. I'm not a vampire. Let's just clarify that.
He's not. He's a cheese vampire.
But yeah, sorry, we did get a bit sidetracked there. Sam, do we have audio aperitif?
We
this
do.
Week? Woohoo!
The first audio aperitif of 2025.
Sam, take it away.
Right.
Hang on.
Now, just to remind, I believe the scores are currently 7-5.
Okay.
7-5.
Or 7. No, 7-4.
Yes, you scored 0.
I did score 0 last week. I think.
Well, are we ready for this week's episode 10 of Audio Aperitif? I believe.
Can we make an actual note of the scores, please? Because I'd hate for that to get misunderstood. I'd hate for Jim
just
to
for you,
inadvertently chip
Nick,
away
right,
at
I'm
my
writing
lead.
down Nick 7, Jim 4 or 5. We'll check.
Hang on, 4. What?
It's 4.
We'll check. I can't remember.
Right, everyone be quiet.
Unbelievable.
What the fuck is that?
Can we go again, please?
Yeah, go again.
We're going to go again, and I will come to Nick first on this one.
Right, now is that a sound you've just looped twice, or is that the whole clip?
No, that is a
Because
sound.
that sounds like a really...
That is a sound I've played twice.
Right, I was going to say, it sounded like a really short sound that you've
Yeah,
just cut and played
it's,
again.
it's a really short.
There's so much going on in that sound.
There was... Wow.
First of
You
all, I
need
was
to write
like...
it. I'm sick of this. You need to write it on your phones.
I'm going to go then. Jim can write down. I'm going first, so I don't need to. I'm just going to say it.
I'm not going to get it right.
But I've also drawn a blank, and I'm sure I'll kick myself. So I'll throw out a guess. I'm going to say, is it Inspector Gadget doing his windy legs?
I mean, you're not that far off. It's mental that you've just picked that out of the air. You're not that far off. Jim, what are you doing?
I don't know the name of the robot, but I think it's like, is it Johnny 5?
It'd be weird that we'd mention it.
From Short Circuit?
Yeah, I don't fuck it. It might be something. It might be a reason that's come to his head.
I filmed it not that long ago. You were like, I can't remember anything about it. I remember I may have watched it when I was a kid. And you've just thrown out the name.
Is it? I've just gone like Johnny 5 jumping. Like that's like the springs of his like things up, just springing up. And...
No, you're not miles off. But I'm not trying to craze you these with like films that no one's seen over the last 10 years. It is Iron Man's Repulsor.
Oh, of course it is.
I don't know what that means.
Fuck's sake!
Well, you've seen Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
It's the guns in his hand.
Of course it is. Now he says it. Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Of course it fucking is.
Of course it is.
Fucking Iron Man.
Use your ears, you cunts. Next sound. Coming to Jim first.
Well, you're gonna fucking play it again first.
Yes, I am. Out of the corner of my eye, I can see that Nick's got this. I reckon
He's tapping very.
he's looking like a confident little
I'm
bugger.
He picked his phone up and started tapping very.
Tip tappity tip tip tap.
So it almost feels like that should be like going like in the horror genre element where my guess should be going with that. Because it sounds like there's some scraping and then there's like a little chuckle. Do you know what? I'm going to go with it. Fucking, what's his name? Chuckles from Friday the 13th. Fucking Freddy.
You've just mixed up
Nightmare on Elm Street. Sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy
The
Krueger.
claws.
Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. Fucking claws on a board or some
You're
shit.
not a million miles off, Nick.
Oh, I definitely am then.
Oh.
I'd originally thought like claw scraping to silence the crowd or something. Then I was like, that's too similar to when we did the Joker clapping with like the crowd. Can I change what I wrote now?
No.
I've got to go with what I wrote
No,
down.
you got to go with what you wrote.
Shit.
I reckon you're going to kick yourself.
I seem to remember there being a scene in Dumb and Dumber where Jim Carrey's character was like sucking a drink through a straw and it's like... and I put that.
So I'm not a million miles away, so go on then.
It is...
Is it Wolverine's claws?
No. It is claws on a chalkboard to silence the Amityville crowd when they talk about how to catch a shark. Come on.
I almost feel like I should get a point there for saying claws on a chalkboard.
You did say the film.
No.
I said claws on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
You
you've
also
got to say
said Friday the
film.
13th.
And
Chucky.
No, I said chuckles.
It's Quinn. It's his come on, that's like... This is the thing, right? I think you guys need to think. If in your head you're like, "Oh, it sounds like nails on a chalkboard." All right, think of an iconic scene with nails on a chalkboard.
Do you honestly think
totally forgotten
I
that.
remember that scene?
But you even said it sounds like claws on a chalkboard.
Yeah, but not from fucking Jaws.
Fucking hell, guys!
Do you think I remember there being a scene in Jaws where there's fucking nails on a chalkboard?
It's like the scene?
No.
I hope people listening have done better than we have on this one. we've
we've fucked it.
I think my editor I work with has got like all but one of these. Like he's fucking bossing.
Yeah, but can I just say he's doing it in the comfort, no doubt, of his own home.
He probably gets the ability to pause, rewind, and re-listen as many times as he
down and
wishes.
have a think.
Oh yeah.
Whereas we are getting 2 listens and
definitely.
maybe
He's allowed to vamp as
and then
much
maybe 20 seconds tops.
I definitely
And
blame
he's
the
an
tools.
editor, so he's probably got a way of clipping those sounds, put them into a fucking search engine, and going, there it is.
Alex, don't listen to them. I know
what?
that you're an honourable
Do you know what?
person.
I'm calling bullshit. Alex, you're a fraud, mate.
Come
Right,
on,
here we
hit
are.
us with the last
Final
one.
sound.
Do so badly.
Are you ready?
Oh, this is one
I
of
don't
those
think the scores are going to be changing this week.
One more. There's just so much going on in all of the sounds. It's like-
We're listening to a creature. That's a dead cert. There is a creature in that clip.
There is a creature in
But
that clip.
what? And there's a roar, or like a growl. What is growling?
Can I just give you a tip here? That when I saw this creature making this sound, I was like, they have just found all the fucking clips of animals because a roar does not fit with this creature. It's so fucking weird to have that sound.
Yeah, that doesn't help. In the
Nick, I'll be
slightest.
coming to you first.
What fucking film?
I just put Star Wars.
You just put Star Wars.
You've got.
Any particular Star Wars film?
Maybe like the big pit creature.
It's a big pit.
The Sarlacc.
Sarlacc pit.
Yeah?
I mean, it's
Jim.
probably, I was going to say The Jungle Book.
What? What? Is it sci-fi?
The live action,
Mowgli.
The live action Jungle Book with fucking Shere Khan.
Is it sci-fi?
It's not.
Well, fuck you.
Do you want to listen, guys? Yeah, do you want to?
Go on.
It's Tremors.
Oh,
No, it's not.
It's
it
Tremors.
sounds so sci-fi.
Oh my god.
Play again.
That's the actual scene where he breaks into the rec room, and
No
you just hear the
way.
gunfire at the end as well.
No, it's not.
No.
I'm still not hearing Tremors.
Do you
in
know
that.
why?
It's mental, isn't it?
That's
it's
that is
such
mental.
a weird sound for these creatures.
I'm still not hearing Tremors in that in the all.
Do you know what? I've never thought Tremors there because I thought every time the creatures were on screen, it was accompanied by that kind of sort of sound, and it was like their recurring motif.
Yeah.
Not in that fucking bit.
So, guys, at the end of that, the scores, I believe, are probably 4-7.
Or 5-7. Who
Or
knows?
5-7.
Or I think it probably is 4-7. But wow, what a great round that was.
I mean, guys. If anyone out there has done better, please tell me. I feel like the nails on the chalkboard thing. You know, if people know their films and they're thinking, "Oh, that sounds like nails on a chalkboard," that is the iconic.
Either that or a straw slurping.
or like, yeah.
I mean,
or like Jim Carrey, like
they're definitely not thinking Jim Carrey slurping a straw.
at some point in the audio aperitif, I'm
You're
going
going
to
to
stick
get
in
Throw
Jim
that
Carrey
in.
slurping a straw.
Jim
And we'll
Carrey.
be
No, I'll
like,
do the Jim
"That's
Carrey with
nails on a chalkboard."
his tongue on the thing. Is it cold?
And you can guarantee both of us are going to go, today I might be
Yeah.
right.
Is it like Jules taking a shit? Fuck hell, guys! Come on, use your ears.
I mean, at that time when me and Nick both threw out Jim Carrey getting birthed out of a rhino, and you're like, no mate, it's fucking the Terminator. Like,
Yeah.
Turns out we're just desperate for a Jim Carrey audio aperitif.
Yeah.
Audio Aperitif.
So that was audio aperitif.
That was audio aperitif,
We
guys.
did shambolic. As always, I will put this up on the socials leading
Yeah.
up to the episode for you all to have a lovely little go and give us your best guesses. And I will, of course, read out the best responses.
And I do hope that everyone is looking forward to a monumental shift in tone of film as we transition from Tremors
Well, I am
to
actually...
Nosferatu.
Well, actually,
Nosferatu might actually give me tremors.
I am actually quite glad that we are doing Nosferatu because before we were leading to come today, I really wanted the Mega World to kind of steer us away from easy watches and action films and actually give us a bit more of a thought-provoking film. So I'm actually glad that you came up with this suggestion of taking a trip to cinema and doing this. So
I can't wait to hear what you.
So I for one,
can't
am
wait to watch
really
it.
looking forward to watching it, but not probably for the right reasons.
Well, I think we could be teasing out some 5 meatballs.
I definitely think next week there'll be a lot of vamping. Oh, we get it because he's a vampire.
And on that tragic note, I've been Jim. Goodbye.
I've been Count Goutula. Goodbye.
And I've been Sir Sucks-a-Lot. Goodbye.
Fucking hell.
Movie casserole, casserole.